So this is Halo 3's largest vehicle, and it's hidden in plain sight. But guess what? I couldn't find a single video of anyone ever exploring this massive vehicle. So can we do it? Let's give it a shot! So the remains of this Covenant battlecruiser are located near the end of the mission Floodgate. Now, if you're unfamiliar with Halo 3, the Covenant invade Earth, and then randomly the Prophet of Truth creates a giant slip-space portal and commands the Covenant to retreat. This was unbeknownst to the UNSC, but we find out seconds later that another Covenant battlecruiser has been taken over by the Flood. The Flood then directs this battlecruiser to crash right at the military installation that you play on the previous mission, the Storm. Now this hole that you're supposed to go down to finish the mission is pretty much the only part of this entire structure that's accessible. I would say roughly 80 to 90% of this ship is located outside of the map barriers. And there's not really a logical way to get to this. So that's kind of the reason that I think I couldn't find any single instance of someone exploring the ship. Because Bungie, well, quite frankly, made their map barriers on this mission pretty ironclad. However, I was able to find exactly one single instance of someone getting outside of the map at this part of the mission by the ship. Shout out to xlax007 because he's one of the classic Halo trickers. Now in this video, he was able to get to the bottom of the map and using a crate and a gravity hammer was able to pull off some cool launches. But he wasn't able to break the map's ceiling barrier, which if done would give you access to 90% of the ship. So my first idea was to try his method, just a different way. I picked up a gravity hammer from the beginning of the mission and then headed to the section of the ship.
Okay, luckily this mission is so short that we're already there basically.
I went to go clear out all the enemies near the entrance of the hole, and then, of course, naturally, MCC froze and crashed for all of us.
The hell? Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm just kind of spinning in air and floating and dabbing and oh, goodbye.
Great.
Luckily, the setup for this is extremely easy, and I was glad to get the crash out of the way so it didn't happen in the middle of doing this trick. But now, my strategy was to use the gravity hammer to hit a bunch of these small crates to the bottom of the map where Xlax was able to get down. He used the tan crate and pushed it methodically on top of the ship to get it outside of that part of the mission. Now me, I am far too lazy for that. So my goal was to just hit it with volume. Hit as many crates as I possibly could towards that section of the mission and then hope that one landed in the playable area at the bottom of the map. In total, I probably hit about 25 to 30 boxes off the edge the first attempt. Now I just needed to clear out all of the enemies in this section of the mission so that I could sneak around the edge of the ship to get down to the bottom. Now I did have to have some skulls enabled for this. The Cowbell skull, which increases smash acceleration, the boom skull, which makes explosion radiuses ×2, and the tilt skull, which makes you go further but makes enemies harder. But now I was ready to get out of the map.
Oh, dude, they're called the Flood because it's a callback to Noah's in the Ark in the Flood, bro. I don't actually like the religious elements of Halo. I just like the game, even though it's called Halo. John 1:17, which is a reference to the Bible, the Flood, the Ark, the Covenant. Literally everything is related to religion. But I just like the Halo part.
What the fuck? What is this checkpoint?
Mom.
So on my first attempt trying to get around the edge of this, I threw a plasma grenade and tried a gravity hammer boost at the same time and ended up killing myself with the plasma grenade. I tried to revert to the last checkpoint, not realizing that I didn't have a single checkpoint in this section. So the 10 minutes I spent setting up all those boxes was wasted and I would have to do it again. This time I didn't bother clearing out the enemies and instead wanted to see if I could just straight up jump to this edge of the ship without using the gravity hammer or any grenades. And it worked.
Whew. Okay. So how the hell do I get out of the map? Oh, there's a crack here.
Can I smoke it?
Now Xlax was able to get out of the map by getting onto this weird floating platform. I initially tried just gravity hammer boosting up to it, but I ended up landing on this lower lip. I would need to be able to get to the top of this to walk over to the ledge and jump off. Now it looks like in Xlax's video there was a soft barrier which prevented him from falling too fast, so he was able to go all the way to the bottom of the map without dying.
Oh, shit.
For whatever reason, and completely unprompted, my brother just decided to start playing through the rest of the mission, so I got a lackluster checkpoint at the bottom of this.
You kind of screwed me over.
Sorry.
Even though this was kind of a bad checkpoint and could potentially ruin the trick, I was able to pretty much immediately get up to the platform after this happened. Now, I took a quick look around at everything, as I like to do, but now it was time to jump off the edge. I expected to just run straight into an elastic barrier and float my way down. But that wasn't the case. I walked straight off the edge and died.
How the hell did XX do that? Oh, I see.
I went back and reviewed his footage and found that I had to jump off the map to make sure that I'm hitting the elastic barrier. This turned out to actually be pretty easy.
Okay, I'm slowly falling. Okay, I'm down here. I think you're good to go. Die.
So I instructed my brother to die so that he could spawn on me on the bottom of the map. The reason for this is there are death barriers randomly and they're invisible and you don't really know when you're going to hit them. So if you don't have a second player down there acting as a spawn beacon, it can get pretty dangerous.
Tell you what. Oh, wow.
Okay.
That was a quick death barrier.
Oops. Don't go there. I told you don't go there.
So because I hit this death barrier with the gravity hammer, it was now out of reach. In Halo 3, you can't really move weapons or equipment with grenades. Now, I didn't send the third player forward to get another checkpoint, so I decided to explore this area a little bit more.
Oh, dude, it's the Warping Mountains again. This time bigger. Come check it out.
Now, it's definitely not the largest playable area in the world, but there are some weird effects if you get down here.
Like a diamond in the rough, so shiny. Whoa, bright.
So bright.
So bright.
Dude, this place is scary.
Alex, I'm scared. Alex, I'm scared.
Okay, so he is right. The real objective is being able to launch back up. Basically need to do it from right here.
So even though I lost the hammer and would have to revert to the previous checkpoint, the boxes for the setup were good.
So yeah, I did have some boxes just lacklusterly over here, but unfortunately, my boy Alex here might have fudged the setup.
Sorry, I thought too much.
I once again was able to descend to the bottom of the map, but now it was time to truly get our setup in place. I had my brother once again die to become the spawn beacon, and while he waited around, I threw plasma grenades behind boxes to get them in the playable area past the death barrier. From here, I tried to set it up roughly along the edge of the building just above me. But I will say it is really hard to make out what exactly you are looking at because there is such a thick layer of fog at the bottom of this map.
Okay, you might be able to proceed forward and get a checkpoint. You might not. I might load forward. It's worth the test before we reset this. Luckily, it's like the easiest setup ever.
I sent my brother forward to get the final Gravemind checkpoint, and now it was time to try to launch past this ceiling barrier.
Well, I'm close.
After only a couple of attempts, I quickly realized that my box setup was terrible. I lined up in the middle of the platform right above me, and to get to the ceiling, I would need to be able to clear all the buildings in my path. So I tried moving the box further out and seeing what this would do.
Oh, close.
However, we had just spent our last checkpoint, so I was determined to push this box each and every time for a launch.
Oh, that was so close.
This setup was just too bad to continue. Throwing the grenade, chasing down the box, adjusting it again, jumping on top of it, all that made each attempt 20 plus seconds. And it was already going to be hard enough to get the power and the aim to get all the way up there. Setting up the box with only one checkpoint is basically like doing this blind. You just gotta hope that you line up the box somewhere along the fog that allows you to go up straight enough. So for this reason, I restarted the mission.
Okay, I've got it pretty much figured out. We just need those checkpoints back.
Now, I'm not going to make you sit through this entire setup again, but now that I had it figured out, this went really quick. In total, it only took me about 6 minutes to get all the boxes off the map to the time where I had the box set up on the bottom of the map. Now, I had my brother spawn down here, but this time I had him go as close to the barrier as he possibly could. I was going to use him as my reference point and push the box as close as I could towards him.
Okay, I'm going to send the second player forward.
That way, I would have enough room that I wasn't hitting the elastic barrier, which would prevent me from launching, but I was far enough towards the edge of it that I could have a trajectory when I launched upwards that would be able to clear all those buildings.
If I turn around.
Oh.
I think I need to change the way that I'm standing on the box each time.
Wait, pause. So this ledge right here is the main ledge that I was trying to get to. I finally started having some consistent launches that got me enough power, but I just needed to aim a little bit better. My hope was that I would be able to launch fast enough so that I could push the elastic barrier, which seemed to be just at the base of this ledge. I figured if I could get onto it, I might just be able to walk around, but I would still have to be going fast enough to bust through that ceiling barrier. So now, I just had to hit it!
That was very close.
On this attempt, I technically landed it, but I was dead, and this was my closest attempt. Now, this is one of those fun tricks that I really don't mind doing because every launch is a different experience, but I didn't think this was going to be possible.
Boom. Now landed on this ledge. Sick if I could land up there, but I don't think I can.
So now that I realized I pretty much couldn't get out of the map barrier from here, I decided to have a little bit of fun with it.
That was a perfect launch right there, buddy. Right on the mark. And look at that, I'm all the way back into the map.
Although I was just kind of freestyling and these were two of the more fun launches that I pulled off, I decided to end the game. And to be honest, I was just planning on making a video about this specific area and where you could go. But a couple days went by and I just wasn't satisfied. I just Getting to this little area was cool, launching was cool, but I just felt like if I didn't get to this ship and truly explore it, all of it, what was I even doing making this video? So although I had no plan, a couple of days later, I just decided to boot up the game, no brother this time, and see if I could figure something out. Figure out a way to get around that ceiling barrier and actually explore the interior of the ship.
I have an idea to do it. I'm going to use a box. I'm going to use a hammer. Except this time, you fucking like that? Huh? Fucking like that? Huh? Anyways, I'm going to use a box, and I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use one of these boxes because I think I'm going to need to get some diagonal distance, and I don't know if I can get... So you got to think about the trajectory line of if I'm trying to launch across this giant gap up here. It'll be easier when I actually get up there and I can show you. But you got to think of the trajectory line because I think what will happen is I'm going from top to lower surface. So if I come out here real quick, I'm looking to cross that entire gap.
So although what I was saying here didn't make the most sense, I'll try to clarify. There is a way to get outside of the map on top of the UNSC military installation that's across from the wreckage. Now, I was planning on using the exact same strategy as before, but once I got out of a different part of the map barrier, I wasn't going to try to launch vertically. I was going to try to use a crate to launch horizontally. Now, it doesn't matter if you're standing on top of a crate or standing right in front of it. Swinging your hammer by it will launch you pretty fast. But one concern that I did have was that the wreckage outside of the map was roughly at the same level in height of the UNSC base across from it. But this didn't matter at this point. I first had to employ the same strategy as before, but this time I was hitting a bunch of crates to try to get them on top of this building. Now, one difference between the first session and this session was that this session I decided to start at Rally Point Bravo to save a little bit of time. I remembered that there's a gravity hammer just outside of the wreckage. So I picked this up and then turned my attention to trying to smash the crates onto this wall outside of the map.
Okay, so I need to get some crates up there.
Now that I launched some boxes on the top of this wall, it was time to get outside of the map. Now in this session, I also had 2 players, but I was controlling them both. If you jump on top of the single Traxxas box and then launch up to the double Traxxas box, you can jump to this little ledge and walk forward. After about 100 feet, you'll see a slanted ramp that you can walk up. Now once you walk up this ramp, you have to walk against the slanted surface of the top of the wall. Eventually the barrier will open up a little bit and you need to follow this path all the way until you get into an invisible trench. There is a very specific route that you have to take on the top of these buildings to truly break outside of the map barrier. But like the other areas outside of the map, there are perils and random invisible ledges that are too tall to survive. Now you can't get to the wreckage of the ship by getting outside of this part of the map barrier, but if you go to the back wall, you will eventually drop down a couple of feet. You need to follow this trench until you get just outside of the radio tower that is immediately to the right. But I ran into a problem. For whatever reason, this technique that I had used all my life to get out of Floodgate wasn't working. Did Halo Studios patch it?
Felt like I needed to go further over, but I don't know if I can. Yeah, I'm getting sucked back in. I did something wrong. Unless you have to start from the mission beginning for this, which would not be ideal. Yeah, I'm supposed to be over there.
I wasn't able to get outside of the regular map barrier the way that you're supposed to do this, but I figured I'd try to see if I could launch on top of this wall right here and explore at least some of the wreckage. And what I found was, you can, but the same problem as before is popping up again. The ceiling barrier is preventing us from seeing really any other part of this ship.
The map is fundamentally different on when you go from Rally Point Bravo as compared to the beginning of the mission. Where does this take me though? This is crazy looking. I'm going up. Yeah, I can't get past this point. Okay, I guess I need to start from the beginning of the mission. Great. Okay, luckily it only takes like legitimately 2 minutes to get to that part of the mission.
So after 2 minutes, I was ready to get everything set up. I first smashed my boxes outside of the map, and then I got outside of the map again.
That was not what I meant to do. Luckily, I think I'm safe.
But this time, the map barrier was accessible. So what I needed to do was go in the trench, walk about 30 feet, turn to the right, and walk straight. If I go this exact route, I will stay outside of the map barrier. Anything to the left, I will fall off a cliff and die. Anything to the right, I could get sucked back in the map.
So you gotta go from the mission start if you want to get out at this point. Now there is a barrier off the side that if you walk over, you will fall and die. So I gotta be careful to avoid that.
I walked up to where this wall meets the radio tower, threw a grenade, and then gravity hammer boosted so I could get on top of this wall. This would put me officially outside of the map.
Cam up.
Now I just needed to hit a crate into an advantageous place while making sure that I didn't go too low on the structure. The reason for that is about half of this structure is on the top of the map ceiling and about half of it is on the bottom.
Oh, shit.
So if you go too low, you get sucked in and can't get out.
Oh wait, no, I think I'm good.
I went over to the crate to go set it up for a hammer launch, and I was pretty much ready to do this. But if you remember that part that I just said, where half of this structure is beneath the map ceiling, yeah, I walked right under it, and I didn't have a checkpoint. So that meant I'd have to set this all up again. But I'm just going to skip forward to the part where I'm actually going to set up the crate, because quite frankly, I have shown you guys about 50 clips of me hitting boxes outside the map, and I think you get the point.
Well, looks like I gotta set that all up again. Nice. Great. Oh, I'm starting all the way from back here. That's awesome. Yeah, this might honestly not be a bad spot for a launch here. Okay, sending my second player forward. Now we wait for the checkpoint. It's coming.
So pretty much immediately, I realized that this setup with this box had no chance of making it across to the other side. Earlier, I was talking about getting the right trajectory and how crate launching from this side was going to send me mostly horizontal, but I wasn't going fast enough with this launch to overcome the drop. So this meant that every time I would launch, I would just get sucked right back into the map. I decided to see if moving this box and launching would lead to a different effect. My plan was to angle this so that I would have enough distance so that when I did this launch, I could jump on the map floor before entering the air to go to the other side. I was hoping that this would have a ricochet effect that would send me high enough in the air to avoid the map ceiling altogether. But what I found was this just doesn't work either. But I had one last trick in the bag. Before I got out of the map, I picked up a deployable cover. My final plan was to try to deployable cover launch across this gap.
So deployable cover launching might be the way to go here.
If you don't watch my videos, basically how deployable cover launching works is you jump in the air, you look straight down, throw your deployable cover as you're falling to the ground, and then once it deploys, you will be stuck in this. The two models colliding will then eject you really fast. If you do it just right, you can launch really far without dying.
What? Where am I, bro? This is beautiful. Does that count? I'm not sure. Yo, I'm at the top of it. So normally there are barriers blocking all of this. So you can't explore this wreckage. Dude, this is sick. Wow. This is huge. Absolutely massive. Don't tell me this is solid. Oh my, dude. These devs are amazing. You know, I believe this is the highest point you can get on this map. Holy schmoly. Dude, this is awesome to explore. Look at this. There's even like an energy shield on the outside of this. That detail, dude. Wonder if I can try to get up to the upper level. I'm looking for a way up. That might just do it right there. It's pretty big. Oh, that's a pretty big gap, though. If I fail this. Okay, I'm up. I'm over. And I think I might just be able to get up right there, but... Okay. Boom. Okay, we'll come back. I'm going to try to get to the top of this in a bit. Smoke looks sick, dude. Dude, all of this is so cool. You know, initially I was like, getting the bottom map doesn't seem that interesting. And then I was like, wait, can you get up here? And now that I'm up here, I think this... I know I say this a lot, but this is genuinely one of the coolest areas because there's no other way to see all this stuff other than accessing it by launching across that gap because of all the barriers. You can even get a good look at the trees and the forest here, dude. The other half of the ship. It's a big drop. Big drop in mama. Here's the hole where the glassing beam goes. I believe. Oh wait, am I now on the higher part anyways? Oh yeah. Wow. It's like the... What is it? The fiery mists of Mount Doom? Somebody's gonna be like, no, that's not correct. Listen, man, I have never made it through all 3 movies. I've tried so many times. They're just so long, man. They're so long. This is a huge area to explore, though. Like, I've been walking... Even the lights are flashing. Details that nobody would notice. Let's go, dude. Some sort of stegosaurus-like structure here. The tree is really close. Well, guess I gotta get over there again. Hit it smack dab in the face. That was actually sick. Put that in the montage. Oh, and there's a flashing purple light you would never ever see. The crack shot. Wow, this is like one big empty room. Wow, that's sick. Why didn't they include that texturing anywhere else? Maybe they did. Maybe I'm just unobservant. Oh, oh, there's more. There's even foliage growing out of the wreckage. Come on, guys. No one was going to see that. Look at the angle. No one's going to see that with the trees. You didn't need to put these trees here. But I appreciate it nonetheless. It is hilarious. But what is this called? Superclass carrier? I don't remember. Whatever, dude. Bully me. Can I get down here? Oh. I'm claustrophobic, dude.
I'm claustrophobic.
This is like those videos of the guys going through the caves. Is this solid? There's like a million rooms on this. Don't even know what to call this video at this point. Have not been down to this level yet. Big room down there. It's probably where I just was. It's hard to keep track of this. Oh, and there's even flood stuff up here, dude. Very nice. It'd be sweet if they put, like, pustules on it. Just a little, like, little Easter egg there. Not much for furniture, these guys in the Covenant, huh? I mean, I guess their ship is all burned up. Plasmized. And I'm assuming with their advanced metallurgy... Oh, this is a vine. A flood vine. Does this hurt you? No, usually flames in this game hurt you. Dude, take a photo for my file share. Take a photo for my file share. Okay, this is where the map barrier top is. Boom! That was pretty sick. Okay, that was basically to the top. I wanted to land it one last time for funsies. But there it is. Look at all those boxes. Pointless. Absolutely pointless. Thanks, guys.